Good evening. Let me begin by congratulating the leaders of the Working Families Party on tonight's convention, especially Javier Valdez, Dorothy Siegel, Bob Master, Karen Sharp, and Dan Cantor. I'd also like to applaud the work they're doing for low-wage workers. Kudos to Jonathan Weston and New York Communities for Change, as well as Naquazia LaGrande and 32BJ, which has really done great work. I'd like to congratulate and thank my friend Mayor Bill de Blasio for his good work and his support and his friendship through this process. The other officials who are there today, my regards. Let me say this, it's hard to believe that almost 4 years have gone by since I was first privileged to be elected to be governor of this great state. We've done much to be proud of. We passed the marriage equality law, which resonated all across this nation. We passed a sensible gun safety law. We created 440,000 new jobs. We are the second state in the country for job creation since the recession. And we resolved a $10 billion deficit in the process. We're turning around the upstate economy, which after decades of despair is coming back to life. We had the largest one-year drop in unemployment in recorded history in upstate New York. And most of all, on a grand scale, we showed that government can work with effect, with efficiency, and with competence. And that, my friends, is core to our argument, that government can make a difference, that it can work. But we have only just begun, and we have much more to do, and that's why I'm running for re-election. We must continue restoring the upstate economy. We must continue rebuilding our SUNY system to make it the best on the planet and the most affordable. We must pass the Women's Equality Act as I proposed it. Not 9 out of the 10 points, but all 10 points. Because women are not 9/10 equal to men, women are equal. And that's what the Women's Equality Act is all about. We must pass the criminalization of small amounts of marijuana, which compound the injustices of abuses of the stop and frisk policy. We tried to pass it in the past and we failed. We must pass it in the future. We must pass the DREAM Act because we believe in immigration and we are not threatened by differences. We are excited by diversity. We must recognize the needs of extreme weather and we must be prepared for it. We must pass a minimum wage increase because people should not have to choose between paying rent and buying food. We've already passed a minimum wage increase in this state, but it was reduced in legislative negotiations. I support a minimum wage of President Obama's 1010, indexed so you don't have to continually update it, with an adjustment factor of up to 30% for the cost of living adjustments across different markets in this state, of course, within boundaries and subject to state regulation, but recognizing the economic realities of this great state. We can realize the promise of our democracy by making sure that every voice is heard and by eliminating the power of big money in our campaigns. I have proposed in the past, and we must make a reality, comprehensive campaign finance reform, which has as its centerpiece a system of public financing modeled on New York City's successful program. I have a strong bill, but once again, it has to be passed. Our top priority has been and will remain education. We will not rest until we have the best education system on the planet. We must also end the educational inequality that exists. The truth is, in this state, in many ways, we have two education systems, not public and private, but rich and poor. And you can go to a school in a wealthy district on one side of town, and the kids in the first grade are on the internet. And you can go to a poor school on the other side of town, and they don't even have a basketball net. Our education funding formula is based too much on politics and should be based more on need and fairness. We must continue to fund education at unprecedented levels and also place a special focus on schools in poorer communities that need more help, because in many ways their mission is more than just education. It is to provide social services, after-school services, mentoring, nutrition, family counseling, job training. Our solution we call community schools that coordinate and provide all the services necessary in one place. We must make them a reality in needy communities statewide. My goal is to have 200 done in 4 years. In New York City, I look forward to working in partnership with Mayor de Blasio on these community schools. My friends, this is the right agenda. We proposed much of it over the past 4 years. But a reality in Albany is you have to get it passed. And that means you need an Assembly and a Senate that will pass those bills. And the truth is also the Senate has been a problem on many of these items. I told the Senate Leadership Coalition, the IDCs and the Republicans, that we needed a success in passing the DREAM Act, Public Finance, Women's Equality Act this session, or they would have failed the people. Well, they said none of the items would pass because the leadership of the Conservative Party forbid it. Well, the simple truth is, to make this agenda a reality, we must change the Senate leadership. We should start by telling the IDC that they must agree to return to the Democratic Party or face our unified opposition. And then we must tell senators who call themselves senators that they must support these items or we don't consider them Democrats, and they will face our unified opposition. And then together we must go out and we must win a majority of the seats in the Senate. It is that simple, but it is that sweeping, because that is the obstacle to making this agenda a reality. Now, I know that it's a big undertaking, but I believe we can do this. If we do something that Democrats find very difficult to do, and that is to unify. Let's unify around a simple goal, taking back the Senate. Democrats in rural areas, urban areas, upstate, downstate, if we all come together, community activists, unions, we can do this. Politics is often about seizing the moment. And this is our moment to seize. Most of all, the people of this state are ready. The contrast in this election couldn't be greater. This election is not just about me. It's not even just about New York. This is about ultra-conservatives in the Republican Party trying to force their agenda. As they have done in Washington, they now want to do in New York. Let's not kid ourselves. These are not the Republicans of my father's day or your father's day. There is nothing moderate about these Republicans. These are ultra-cons who are rabidly anti-choice. They call abortion infanticide. They veto legislation prohibiting harassment at health clinics. They are anti-DREAM Act. They're anti-marriage equality. They're anti-gun safety. They're anti-Buffalo Billion. They are anti the very essence of what we believe this great state is all about. That is what this election fight is about. That is the fight that we must wage. If we are unified, and if we are mobilized, and if we come together, we can take control of our government and we can make our agenda a reality. But we have to do it together. We can seize this opportunity for historic change. I hope we can do it. I hope we can do it together. Thank you for listening to me this evening. Thank you.